Welcome aboard to FlameFlash.net podcast, episode 42. We're 10 away from the big year marker. Some podcasts like to celebrate those 50 milestones for some reason. I'm more interested in the fact that in 10 more episodes, we'll have been doing it for a year. Non-stop. By every week. I'm proud of that fact. But we'll get right to the Raptr report. First off, the Raptr site has changed again. I tweeted a little bit about it earlier today at FlameFlash on Twitter. And massive improvements. If you liked the old site better than the new, you'll be happy to know that tracking is back on the new site now. Same style, half hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour increments for manual tracking, but the drop-down menu is easier to use. You can start typing and get right to what you're aiming at. Much improved system. The ranking system, elite, etc. Well, you'll have to check it out, I think, for yourselves to really get a good feel of it. So, go to Raptr.com. It's how I track my playtime. It's how I build the Raptr report that I bring commentary of video games to life regarding. Because you don't know Jack. That's right. Back to You Don't Know Jack for a couple of quick games with the wife this last week. And there's nothing really more to say. Every once in a while, we think we can hear one of our old friends from middle school that is actually in the credits. He was a writer. He lent his voice to some of the background characters. It's very neat to see. And it's a game that is still worthy of your time and money. Mario Kart 7. Still chugging along on this one. The Street Pass options really give this game legs. For instance, we were in the mall this last weekend to pick up some new shoes for both of the younger two. Baby got a new pair of shoes, as it were. First pair for the 1-year-old. And Street passed what I would assume is a GameStop employee. And I trounced his single ghost, I am proud to say. So next time we Street Pass, hopefully he'll be a little bit more of a challenge because he'll have raced my ghost. We'll wait and see. But no online play there, just I passed him data, he passed me data, and we raced. No interference of items. It's all about the skill. And I got a good game out of it. Also played with the son and Red Flare, oldest son, while somebody was in the bath. Must have been the oldest daughter. So we were all hanging out upstairs. Everybody was starting to get ready for bed, that kind of thing. And enjoyed a cup of that. Flower cup, I believe it was. I barely won. Red Flare gives me a very good run for my money in Mario Kart. Doesn't help when the son likes to help her. Oh well. Not bitter. Okay. So, next up on the least played through the week, Inferno Pool for the PlayStation Network. Now, one of the neat things about the new Raptr is that it takes your average owned games and compares you to everybody else out there. Well, what's neat is it is obvious that PlayStation Plus has a massive impact on what I've ended up with in my game library. Kevin Butler loves me, as Raptr said. Kevin Butler is a fictional spokesperson for Sony and the PlayStation platform, but Kevin Butler is a good friend of mine, it seems, since Wow. Lots of PlayStation Network games. Lots of them. By platform, 36% of my games are still Nintendo. 27% are PlayStation. Now that includes PlayStation Network, PS3, PS2, the original PlayStation, etc. Computer makes up 25%, and Microsoft a paltry 12%. Action-wise seems to be the majority of my collection. Not quite sure how they decide the genre of my various games, but not surprising. Inferno Pool, if it hadn't been free on the PlayStation Network thanks to PlayStation Plus, it would have been a waste of money. I will leave it at that. Controls are absolutely horrible. They're just not intuitive for a game of pool. Maybe if I activated one of my Move controllers, it would be slightly more appealing. I just don't know. But absolutely awful. Just this evening, pulled off a half hour of the first Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse game. This was one of the very first PlayStation Plus freebies. I'm just finally now getting around to trying it out. I'm entertained. Taking a comparison of Inferno Pool and then Sam & Max, Sam & Max entertains. Inferno Pool did not. I liked Sam & Max. I will be continuing the story of Sam & Max. And just getting through the tutorial, I got a silver trophy. So, if you're a trophy-holic, wahoo! I don't know how much easier you can get it. So, Sam & Max, for a new game, go for it. This is another one of those telltale adventure games, kind of like Back to the Future was. So, these guys did a good job with Back to the Future, so I thought it was finally time to try out what I assume is their main franchise of games, the Sam & Max line. Alright, how about Dungeon Defenders? Tried this out on the PC this time. Played about an hour of it. And here on Dungeon Defenders, I am a mage for my PC venturing into it. I have a monk on the PS3 that I'll be playing with the kids, but a mage seemed to be more fitting for solo play and for possibly teaming up with my Steam PC playing cousin. I can, however, plug a USB Microsoft 360 controller into the computer and bam, I'm good to go. Had I had some foresight, I would have simply, say, plugged a PC video cable to the back of the television, and we would have played Dungeon Defenders that way. But that's pretty limiting to the kids too, so I'm glad we have a console version to let them venture forth through that method as well. Gives them a little bit more control. They're able to level on their own without me feeling like I have to be monitoring them, since Steam and my laptop are kind of off limits usually, especially since I use it for work. Magic the Gathering. Now, I actually got real card time on this one, and game time on this one, digital game time. So, digital game time wise, went through and finally ended the Arch Enemy campaign. Got a trophy there. And otherwise, those various Zombo combo decks Zombo combo? Zombie combo decks. The, blue-white spirit, blue-white control, with some illusions mixed in, and then blue-black zombie, all prove to be very strong combinations when considering the packs I'm using, which is Magic 2012, Innistrad, and Dark Ascension. I don't buy a lot of cards. I like to use what I have. So it was nice to see that those decks really held their own and survived. Don't really remember how the breakdown was when I played with my friend, but I had fun, and they really felt like they were holding their own, and that's what matters. So they're good, strong decks, maybe a little more tweaking, a bit more play testing. I have a couple more decks that I still want to play test more. For instance, my werewolf deck versus a burn deck, not so successful. It needs something more to either give it survivability against a burn deck or be able to just swarm my opponents so much that it doesn't matter. Burn doesn't matter. We'll figure something out. Finally, World of Warcraft. I now have 3 characters at level 85, 2 characters at level 84. That's right. Wife and I got to play on our Mage Priest pair. We are destroying NPCs. It's not even funny. They're not getting close to us. With a Fire Mage and a Shadow Priest, no contest. And it's pretty cool to be walking around Stormwind in the same get-ups for the most part. We're questing together. So our gear is obviously going to be looking quite similar. But an 84 there on a mage, and then an 84 on the shaman. So we're getting very close, Sun and I. We will be beating the Mists of Pandaria, and finally the Sun will have a character at level cap. Need to start working with the daughter more, playing with her more if she's interested, and getting my Paladin and her Death Knight up. But that's going to be fun too, because the Paladin is built to be a tank. So we could actually pretty easily level our way through the Burning Crusade content, which was a slow period for the Sun and I, and get to Northrend, where I think she'll have more fun. The questing's a bit more entertaining. We leveled from 58 to 60 in Cataclysm content, so we didn't even step through the gate until we were 60 and could fly. Just because that's where she was interested in going, was the Blasted Lands new content, and flying around in that old world and feeling pretty powerful, because most of the old world, well, the level cap was 60. Not too shabby. We also have our Blood Elf pair, so it kind of depends on which way she wants to go. The Dark Moon Fair, I believe, is going to be back this Sunday. Did not get my priest all the way up to 65 yet, but if there's enough time after the podcast, maybe I'll log in and push her up another level. Just have to wait and see. So, aside from playing World of Warcraft, Blizzard released some sad news just today that they laid off about 600 people around the world. The Twitter chatter so far is that it's mostly customer service folks, which sadly makes sense since their subscriber numbers have dropped 2 million since Cataclysm launched. That's a pretty big group of people that are no longer needed because the game base just isn't there. Not to say that there isn't a game base. 10 million is, holy crap, strong. But logically, you're going to be a little bit bloated if you're supporting 2 million less people. It's a shame. And I wish them luck. And as one commenter I saw on WoW Insider said, I hope their severance package includes a 25-year WoW subscription card. That would at least lightly soften the blow. Now, in other, say, geek news, Ghostbusters 3 suspended animation. There's been light talk of Ghostbusters 3 for a while now. Go get the video game. It's going to be in GameStop, used for $20 or less. Find it on Amazon, new for $20. Go get this game. It doesn't matter what platform you play it on, though I recommend the PS3 or the 360. Just higher graphics quality. That's Ghostbusters 3. You have the voice acting work of all of the original actors. You're playing the part of the rookie new cadet kid. And it's fun. Especially for a Ghostbusters fan. So go do that. Go play that game for your Ghostbusters 3 fix. And let's leave Peter Venkman and Bill Murray to what he's enjoying doing now, which isn't making movies, it seems. So, iPad 3, yes, 3, seems to be approaching. March 7th is a threatened date for an announcement. We're going to be sticking with the iPad 2 for now. It does everything we need it to, and more. There's absolutely no need to upgrade. Maybe with the iPad 5 when it can, read your mind and control your TV at the same time. But iPad 3, there just doesn't seem to be a need. We don't play games on it much. It's mostly a mobile media player. So it does what we need it to do. We probably could have gotten away with an original iPad, but I like that camera. It's not a very high quality camera, but it captures pictures when it counts. For instance, the iPad was all that we had upstairs when that little newbie decided it was time to climb into a chair, kid-sized chair, sit down very confidently, and then squirm our way back out. So we were able to catch that on video because we had a device handy to do it. Sure, the little camcorder or the movie taking function of our regular camera would have been better quality, but we had a way to catch it, and that's the important thing. Pokemon Black and White 2. Now, I love the Pokemon Black or White. I can't remember which one I have at the moment, but I haven't had a drive to pick it up for a while, just because I have a 3DS game cartridge that I really enjoy. That it's allowable for quick snippets in time. But this is going to be the first Pokemon game with a number 2 on the end of it, so rumor has it right now that it's going to be a full, real sequel, kind of similar to Final Fantasy X2 or Final Fantasy 13-2, where they take the same story, the same universe, or the same region in this case, and tack on more story at the end. It'll be neat to see how they do it. There's been a bit of an uproar because it's not 3DS, It's not a 3DS game. It's not going to be in 3D. It's going to still be a DS cartridge. But I can put it in my 3DS. I don't really see what the big deal is. This way it's battle compatible with Pokemon Black and White originals. And if they've planned their cards right, if this can be that bridge game. So if you want to move your collection of Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance series to DS, you had Diamond and Pearl. Now from DS to 3DS, you'll have Pokemon Black 2, perhaps. Or whatever game comes next, Pokemon-wise, on the 3DS, we'll go and search for Pokemon Black and White 2. Not the first one. And the 2 will have the groundwork laid for importing of your creatures. So that's my hope, at least, for those Pokemon fanatics who gotta catch them all. If I could finish a game, I'd try to catch them all. I haven't yet managed to do that since the original Game Boy series. And I still lament the fact that there's not a way to pull original Game Boy to Game Boy Advance and up through the process. Because I think I would have more push to do it. Because I had them all on the Game Boy. Doggone it. And some weird buggy ones like a Butterfree with Surf. Yeah, that'd freak people out. A surfing butterfly. Anyway, I'm going to close out this Flameflash.net podcast with the fact that the Supreme Court needs to go and start weighing in on this Fifth Amendment no decryption issue. Another court of appeals has ruled that if the government doesn't have reasonable proof that the information is on the computer, so somebody else happened to see it, they have some kind of witness to say, yes, there are incriminating documents on this computer, you can't force the person to unlock it. That's agreeable, makes sense. Fifth Amendment protection, so if my computer is fully locked down and I don't have any witnesses to say he has illegal stuff on his computer, like bad tax records or something, I don't know, then, well, you can't decrypt me and get at all my personal data and information. I'm sorry. You can't. No cookie for you. But if I have a witness because I was stupid and was bragging, hey, looky here, I've got these Swiss bank accounts that I'm hiding all my stuff in, and these wonderful spreadsheets that show where I've hidden all my money and dodged all my taxes, well then, yeah, you've been a moron and you deserve to be caught. But that just means they're getting the specifics from your computer, and you've already given away the details. I see the difference. The appellate courts seem a little iffy, wishy-washy on it, and I'd prefer for the Supreme Court to come down a little bit heavier-handed on it and say that you just can't force people to decrypt. In this day and age, the smartphone has become some people's brains. It's a horrible shame, but you can see where having Google at your fingertips is a bad thing sometimes. The conversation of, oh, who was that guy in that movie with that thing, becomes, oh, let me Google it. Here at the dining room table. Oh, yeah, he was in Stargate and Oh, look, he was even in an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, and, oh, look, he was also in an episode of Charmed, etc. No, I'm not speaking from experience, maybe slightly. But we didn't put our conversation on hold. The art of conversation is having the conversation, not putting the conversation on hold and waiting for your internet browser on your phone to catch up. It's fun to try to remember and help each other remember, sharing those details, sharing those experiences, which is what a conversation and friendship and camaraderie is all about. But if I didn't lock my phone, auto locks, well, then anybody's open and has a right to it, law enforcement wise, if for some reason they feel a need to take it from me. But if I've locked that thing, you have no rights to it. I'm sorry. Get out of my phone. Get out of my data. But minor political rant. I think the Super Tuesday either was yesterday or is coming up on the primaries. Wish the candidates luck. I'm not going to wax political on the actual candidates. At least not this time. Maybe eventually. We'll see. I'm Flame Flash of the FlameFlash.net podcast. This was episode 42. And had a little bit of gaming, a little bit of news, a whole lot of Raptr Love. Find me on Twitter. At FlameFlash. Straightforward. Spelled how it sounds. Podcast at FlameFlash.net if you want to write something a little bit longer. Or Facebook. FlameFlash.net page. 3 places to go and share your rage. Did not intend to rhyme, but I went with it. So, thank you, Internet. I wish you 1-ups and a happy hump day, leap day today. And this is Flame Flash, signing off.